Yes, we're certainly seeing a record number of women both running for office and also winning their primaries. So we're going to see a record number of women competing in general election races as well. One of the sort of main reasons for that a lot of women candidates cite is the 2016 election and how that all played out. The election of Donald Trump and the way that he campaigned in particular, some of the language that he used, some of sort of the hyper-masculine language and sort of the way that he ran his campaign and the things that he said about specific women and women in general angered a lot of women. And so they took that anger and sort of took it to run for office. And so that's one major reason. But there are other reasons as well. Another is that we are seeing just kind of a general uptick in women's activism in general. So things like the Me Too movement, the women's marches, and so women are just becoming more active politically in general at this particular moment. And so running for office seems to be a part of that trend too. Also, there are specific policy issues that women cite as sort of their reasons for wanting to run for office. So things like reproductive rights, things like healthcare, things like education and childcare and maternity leave, issues that they feel have not been properly addressed by people in office currently. And as far as what can increase their chances of success at the polls, I think the biggest factor is whether or not they are Democrats. We are seeing this record number of women running and winning their primaries, but they're the vast majority of them tend to be Democrats. And so Republicans are having a much harder time. And in fact, we may end up seeing a decrease in the number of women Republicans in Congress after this election. So Democrats tend to do better, and that's for a number of reasons. One reason is because the Democratic Party has a better infrastructure for recruiting women, for training women, for fundraising for women. And so they tend to, one, have more women running in their party, but they also tend to do a better job of kind of preparing them with all of these resources. The Republican Party just doesn't have the same sort of infrastructure in place. The other thing is that Republicans tend to be less likely to vote for women kind of in general. They're more likely to disregard what they call identity politics, right? They're more interested in electing sort of the best candidate for the job without considering things like gender or race or ethnicity or whatever the case may be. And so gender plays less of a role in sort of their vote calculus. Republicans are also more likely to espouse traditional gender roles, which are not necessarily compatible with women running for office. So all of those factors sort of contribute to a harder road for Republican women who run for office than for Democrats.